Web3 Media Friends, brought to you by Rug Radio. I'm super excited. Again, I get to have these people who are on the bleeding edge. These people are on the edge. They're probably on Top Trader right now as they're doing these shows. That's how bleeding edge these people are and how into it they are. Super excited to have Grammy Frankie on the show, artist, and also just degen to the damn core. I don't know, literally, you can just see how little sleep you may have had in the last 10 days since Ape Chain has started. Just let you know, it's been so fast, but it feels like too long. What's that?
It's a thank you, I think. And I would be playing Top Trader, but it wasn't open for 30 minutes.
I got you just in that window. There was no Top Trader to be on the show. Thank you for coming. I think a lot of people know you, from the 10K TF fam, and into Gucci Grails, but maybe just drop us back a little, because I think I'm fascinated, as we were just chatting briefly earlier about this huge Pokemon business that you kind of came to the space with. But take us through a quick history, if you will, of your bio.
Okay, yeah. So as far as job, I am a professional Pokemon card trader. I got $1 million Pokemon company that I've built over 3 to 4 years. I was doing freelance video work. I also have a marketing company, so I've always just been doing my own thing. But as far as Pokemon, there was that big hype in 2020 when everybody had to stay in for a month in the pandemic, and that kind of sent that market manic. And then I started looking at it, and I just found arbitrage is like crazy. And I just started pursuing those everywhere in Pokemon. So over a couple of years, I built that business up. And I transit NFTs. I'm just genuinely interested in that passion. I joined pretty much right when the public sentiment started getting bad, 2022. That's when I heard of them and I really got interested. I'm like, okay, the public doesn't like it. Probably a good time to get in and learn about it, for one. Nice. And then two, what was it? Coinbase NFTs. I was I did a lot. I didn't do a lot off of Coinbase before 2022. So I was waiting for Coinbase NFT to drop to get involved with NFTs in that community, and that I kind of
we thought it was gonna rain. Oh man, once Coinbase, it's gonna, the masses are gonna come to NFTs.
Liquidity. No,
so much.
All that Coinbase NFT brought was me, basically, and yeah, I ended up getting super into Web3 from there. Gucci Grail was I love the Bored Apes. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast, or should I avoid
it? Absolutely. Okay.
So,
you're in your home. We're just hanging out. We're just a bunch of creators hanging out.
Perfect. The okay, so right off the bat, what I love the Bored Apes, the whole thing, the success story. I just thought it was phenomenal. I think they should make a movie still about the whole thing, start to finish, just the whole manic period. I think that'd be interesting from a trading perspective, how they have the GameStop thing. So I was really idolizing Bored Apes. I was looking for derivative collections, like a lot of other people that stumble upon a Gucci Grail that way. And I started trading Gucci Grail. And this is before I really was active on Twitter. So most of the time, I'm the only interactions I'm seeing with a lot of the people who are now my close friends in 10KTF, we're all on chain, me making bids against them, me us doing sales, seeing each other in the charts. And then so even then, when I joined the Twitter space for Gucci Grails, people are like, who is this guy? Because they've all heard from they could see me trading. And then it wasn't until I joined that I even I there was this community side to NFTs. So 10KTF, at first I was pretty much joining as a trading vehicle. And then I and also because I was just interested in digital collectibles from my Pokemon business. And 10KTF, I think, is one of the strongest communities out there. They really, I can genuinely say I don't care what happens to the price of any of these 10KTF products, and then I'm going to be a diehard fan pretty much regardless. So I understand from them, at least to start with, not caring about the price and what an NFT community actually look like the support, meeting a lot of friends, you know what I mean?
And you certainly led that. And I think that's, what I wanted to have you on here, and why I'm a big fan of yours, is that you sort of took it upon yourself at a certain point to be a real advocate for Gucci Grails. I think, even as, I bought it at Pico freaking top. So I was like, yeah, I get it. It's Gucci. And then as soon as, the merch, landed, it was just okay, well, what's next? I don't think they know. I think they're working it out. But until
I don't
then,
know if there's
it needed
anything
a
either.
community leader like you.
Hey, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I do it on accident a lot. I don't know if they're going to do anything else with Gucci Grails. And like, if I'm being honest, I don't consider that a rug at all. Like, these guys literally sent us like $2,500 duffel bags if you had 3 of them for
Mhm.
participating in a mission,
Yeah.
or like the wallet for just one of them. I love both of those. I don't own any other Gucci items, so I was hyped to get them. So,
Yeah.
like, the way I see it is like, okay, uh, and I hate this because I love the guy's art, but I always like say his name wrong. Alessandro Michele or Michele. He
Michelle, yeah.
he starts, launches a collection, resonates with a ton of people. Like, we love the style, and but then he like moves on from the company, like Gucci, in the middle of this collection. So I honestly think that probably caused a delay of like a year, where they had to figure out, okay, shit, we can't like dive into this as hard as we want because we're limited from the IP that was created by a guy that doesn't like work for us anymore.
Mhm.
So like I think that's like where a lot of the initial chaos was from, like, or this like lack of communication with Gucci, but it ended up forming like a really strong community. I think with the people that were like interested in that, we ended up like talking to Gucci at like 3 a.m. calls in like their time in Italy, where we
Yeah.
were telling them like, oh, we think that backpacks would be really cool. So like it ended up, it was just like such a, I always say it's like one of the, I don't actually know the stats on this because, like I said, I joined a little late, but I didn't think until recently that it's one of the earlier like NFT community takeovers in a way, because it really went like, I feel like if Gucci, if you think of them as a dev, like they did their job. They gave us like the cool NFTs. They gave us like the wallets, and from here, like, if we want it to keep going, we have to be like the community that puts in the legwork to make it succeed. So that's why I wanted to jump in there.
No, it's
And
so smart because it
yeah,
stimulates them. They don't know what they have in there. They know they have a semblance of a community, and I think that most projects are in this. Like as from the founder side, they're just like, oh well, what do we have? We know we just did this. Well, what's next? Sometimes it's really good to offer that idea, or to be like get really hyped about something. Be like, oh wow, it'd be great if Gucci did that with this community. That gives them the idea, and they're excited about these communities. They know like how big fans that we are of that merch. It came out really beautifully and well, and I think that they're just looking for their next steps. And so to have somebody in the community to help stimulate that is really awesome. But I think that that's part of, again, this is just kind of like as your journey, you're coming. And then suddenly there's, this thing that you've been pretty critical of is announced. It's just like we're in the middle of top trader, and just like ape chain, and here's your first thing is top trader. Okay, go. And then you go hard into top trader like crazy.
right. I mean, that's the first thing that drew me to Ape Chain. Before I even knew it was Ape Chain related, Top Trader, like, I'm like, okay, the aesthetic, fucking amazing. Like, okay, it's a trading platform. Everyone's bleeding from the
Yeah.
eyes, like I am right now. Like, sound so like I was waiting to trade. I was real hyped, and then when it came out, and then I realized I was actually good at it. I'm like, this is even better because I don't usually like leverage trade. That's not like my preferred investment style or anything. Plus, I would get liquidated a couple times. I don't know if I could. I think I'd be good at it if I actually tried it now after just seeing, like, after trying on Top Trader enough, honestly. But uh, yeah, they're
It's
like,
in practice for that, right? I think it's fantastic to get people adjusted and understanding what it is that we're hearing a lot about that actually affects the markets in a massive, massive way. I mean, just the recent highs have just liquidated the hell out of a lot of people, but then that causes the dip. That's it. Who's selling? People are getting liquidated. That's the sell. And so I think that there's
what on top.
sort of
It's not a it's not real money, so it like doesn't actually
yeah,
affect the market. So
yeah.
like, even oh, you're talking about liquidations in real life on
Exactly, like
Apecoin.
how this all plays out and how the machinations of doing these leverage trades equal market action. And I think that that's what's cool is like you get to participate that in a very you just put down like walk us through that platform. You just put down what is it 10 ape.
Yeah, so you use 10 Ape to join the tournament. You can join as many times as you want. So if you're like a rich motherfucker and you just want to send like $3,000 in and do 30 tries or whatever, you can do that.
Per day,
Or
so
sorry,
every day is a
free.
new tournament, right?
Yeah, every day. So it's a 21-hour tournament. They give us luckily a 3-hour break where I do all of my work for the next 3 days. Yeah. So, and go to the beach. But between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. every day. The 3 p.m. it kicks off. Like like I said, they got to make money. The prize pool, 50% of, if I understand, 50% of the money that comes from people participating in that day's tournament is sent to the it's not always a consistent amount, but usually like close to the top 10 kind of thing. It's distributed. Like if one person has, that's another thing that kind of made the first days bad for me, is because if one person had a super crazy high concentration, they would get a higher prize, part of the prize pool. So like people are exploiting, got a bunch of that. But like I think it's much better now. And also it's kind of a shame that the attention is dying down on it, because it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's just a lull, probably because most people are working and not cracked out on top trader all day. They're just like
Their
getting
life
back
is
from port.
catching up with them. They have to, go work in real life and get some actual money. But I think it
Yeah,
activated you in this great way to where I started seeing you post a bit more about it and being a bit more active. And you certainly were making the leaderboards. And I think you understood what that meant in terms of brand exposure. Or what was your strategy? Was because you started like naming it different things.
yeah. So first, well, once I get on Ape Chain, and then I'm sorry, once I get on Top Trader, I realize, okay, I can do pretty decently in the top 10. And I know it's not a fluke, so I set up a second account because, like instead of just trying to make one of mine go to a bajillion, my thought is I can't make a second. Most of the time, I think it's not intended to have multiple accounts, but they only let you have one position, and I get bored once I'm in the top 10 and I want to open a second one basically without fucking up my first position. So like I've had like almost every day except for like one or two where I've been like really heavy in the tokens. I've been like top 10 or top 15 with like multiple accounts. So the one of them I'll name Grimy Frankie, and then the other one I've been naming like either a mysterious token or the name of my NFT collection, or domain. I bought a domain that was that was led directly to the mint link for my NFT collection. I made that the name. Yeah, that you got pulled up right now. Mysterious Dudes. At the time, it was Electric Dudes, but I renamed them. But so I put my name as the domain on one of these accounts I had in the top 10, and I made posts about like selling ad space in the leaderboard, but I'm just trolling with that. I haven't actually sold any ad space.
But
Yeah.
it's I think this is the thing, is like what I see is this really great pattern of you getting involved, you starting to understand sort of machinations of what makes things work within Web3. And then the great thing, and what this show is about for the artists and the builders and the creators here, making that jump, making that step from like fan, I collect, I do these things. I hear some people making money with this thing. I hear things happening with it, but how do I get involved? This is where you made that jump. You said, I'm going to create on Ape Chain, a chain that you've been, pretty critical of. And you're like, there's something different here. What was it that felt different to where you were just like, I got to make something?
Okay. It won an undeniably good product. Like that's it. Like Apecoin, I was critical of because like I'm not sure if I explained this during the recording or if it was beforehand, but like uh, uh, basically I made a bad trade with like a bunch of the price going down, and also because I was critical of some parts of the DAO, basically. But like Ape Chain is just an undeniably good product. Like it's like I'm on Solana also. Don't get me wrong. I do think Solana is gonna like run still, and a lot of people are on there. But Ape Chain is literally more fun and it has been in every way. Like I'd rather be doing that than Solana right now. Ape Express, Coco, and a couple other people made Ape Express, and it's like a pump fun competitor. Um, and so here's like the real key difference I think between this and Solana right now. So one, there's like less liquidity. It's a new chain, so like you always have like different dynamics where people might be selling more, might be selling less. You don't have enough money to bond, but also you could, uh, I don't know, like it's early to the point where like a lot of these tokens that are out, you're like going to see what survives once people actually bridge over. There's like 2% of the stuff's been bridged over so far out of like all the ape coins. So, and there's basically no reason to leave it there. But anyway, the main difference, sorry, I'm rambling, but the main difference with
No, these are important points, because these are early days, and I think that's what's exciting. I mean, these are so early days. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have, I think, the first original NFT collection on Ape Chain. Am I wrong in saying that?
I honestly think that's true. I haven't been like too loud about that because I think the collection and the token have other merit, and that's probably what I'm gonna have to sell on. But I think long enough, like once people get these scanning tools, they're gonna see this is probably the first one. I've not found any non-derivative collection. I had the art ready. I've made this art before because I have tons of art for NFT collections that I've hand drawn because I'm an artist, and
Mhm.
I was actually a digital artist before NFTs, I just didn't make any money because there was no way for digital artists really to do that, or from my perspective. But uh, sorry, I lost my train of thought here.
But
Oh,
you were ready with this art, and I think that that's the important point. Is like you were aware of this inflection point where you saw
right.
these tools. I assume you did like Mint Pad, and you were just like you saw that, you know, this tools here, and that there was a support system for this ecosystem, especially early days right now. It's an exciting place to be in because the apes are here. They want to see new original art. They want to see, because I mean we can only see so many, you know, Jimmy mutation stuff. You're just like it's gotten like derivative wise, you know, pretty old pretty quick because our wallets are getting stuffed full of them. But we're looking for originality. We're looking for, you know, these elements. And as you said, there's being the first, this primacy, being the first of something is very important when it comes to blockchain. And sort of, you know, as we look back on things, to be one of the first, it takes a lot because A, you have to be ready for the opportunity. B, you have to be present in the opportunity. And I think you were.
Yeah, like I said, I made a post about that too. I think like, so like everyone sees derivatives coming up, and those are the most popular collections right off the bat for several days. I said in one of the spaces, if anybody launches any more monkey derivatives, I'm going to drown myself. And they did it within like 30 seconds live on the space.
On this, yeah, on the stage,
Yeah.
you did it.
So I can't like stop the monkey derivatives anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, I love apes, but like I'm pretty fucking done with the monkey derivative NFTs. But like, so it like the chain really will speak for itself. So that's why I'm not like pushing this like, oh, this is the first original collection yet, because eventually we're gonna see, and I don't want to, you know, you get in arguments with people. The other thing was we didn't show up on Magic Eden because I didn't mint out on the first day. Like mine
Mhm.
minted out over a period of several days, and with the token is really like when things took off and minted together. So I think I wasn't the first, but I was one of the first like cross NFT token collections on Ape Chain as well. But
Walk me back to that process. So you deliver the NFT, you go to MintPad, you're like, great. You set that up. Did you release with that in mind? I got to do a coin as well, a token to add value to that. What was your process there?
um here, let me get there, but let me rewind a second because I wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah.
touch on something you said before that I thought was good. So like about the derivatives and like why that comes up. Like I think like you have a brand new chain, and like first of all, they stealth launch in the middle of the night. So you knock off like 80% of the competition right there because
Mhm.
they're in Portugal at Ape Fest. So like and then they're gonna play Top Trader. So like I wasn't able to go to Ape Fest this year. Uh I found out that my girlfriend's pregnant, so that's huge news.
Whoa,
So that's why
congrats.
I didn't go. Yep. So I'm gonna be a father. And that's why I stayed back from Ape Fest this year. So it was really like a stroke of
This is
luck
the
that happened to
ultimate FOMO revenge. This is what this is.
I'm not FOMO revenging. I'm just having a good time, and I saw the opportunity and grabbed it. Man, like it was like I'm definitely yeah. I don't know. It was perfect timing basically for me to be up at that time. But I think like you have to have a combination of creativity and the technical skill right off the bat. Like I've launched my art on base before, and like most of these collections I do just as art because I don't like people talk about dilution or whatever, but I just want to release art over and over again. They were all free events when I was on base. So
Mhm.
like I and like because Ape Chain is based on Ethereum, it's a lot of the same things that carry over. Or like I think it's Arbitrum, but like it still uses Ethereum addresses. Like it's pretty easy to jump over in the code. Like development wise, I'm not even like a trained developer. I'm a really cracked Chat GBT user basically. like, like like I honestly I've made like a bunch of apps. I barely even know what language I'm programming in, but I can get Chat GBT to produce like the app that I'm like looking to make. And like that's so like Ape Chain I fed ChatGPT the docs. I said like, what can we do here? And I said like, how can I also saw that link to Ape Chain apps. There's like a link to it. There's a page with like 30 apps with all the ones that were ready to go right off launch.
Yep.
So I explored those. There was really only the one or two NFT options that were available.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, like you said, went with Mint Pad for the first one, and that was a little messy, but yeah, here we are. What was the next question before
Well,
I
I
cut?
just that process of like, you know, so you're at MintPad, you release the project, and then just that idea of having to add the extra value. I think there's a lot of pressure for founders, you know, at this moment to like, oh god, okay, that came out. Okay, I got to get a mutated version out like right away because that was successful. That, you know, that meant it out. That's fantastic in terms
That's
of
like
your process.
I don't know. I feel like those are money grabs. You know what I mean? Like, this is like what I'm not worried about. I'm comfortably early in this position. You know, like you view this as like my entrance into Ape Chain was good timing because even though I capitulated before, like this is $1. We're buying Ape for $1 right now. Like, and using it for a chain people actually use. Why did Solana blow up? Because people actually wanted to use it. Like Ape Chain's cool, tools are competitive. So I'm comfortable in my base position, like being an Ape Chain now. I'm also comfortable with how early I got here with the NFTs. I'm comfortable with my art, and our community is strong, like with the token. I can get into the token in a little bit, but to answer your question, I did not originally plan on launching a token when I launched the NFT collection. But our community with the token is like very strong. We've got like 100 or 200 people like on Telegram. It's like super friendly. Like it's like nothing that I've dealt with on Solana. It literally is just a better experience, like community wise. And something that we talk about in the spaces with the Ape Chain degens is that like most places, like if you were in the early days of Polygon, it's like that's stuff I was doing when I joined in like 2022. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look at Polygon. This is the fresh new chain that I launched. Heck and Chonkers. That's the first like storytelling collection that I launched was on Polygon, and it was basically doomed from the start because Polygon. But so I'm sorry, but it
No,
is what
transactions shouldn't take 40 minutes to resolve. There's
exactly like come
problems
on.
there.
There's like I really have to convince someone to even get their money onto Polygon to like get one of those pieces. So really, I just like had fun with the storytelling for that one and didn't do much until a few years later. But what I was saying is when if you were around for any of the early like Polygon stuff, it was way different than this feels with Ape Chain. Like it was a force. That's what it felt like. And I'm not trying to be critical of the Polygon team, but like it felt like the tools were there for it to be an L2, right, or whatever, and it's got development like abilities, but like um the culture was a force. Like it's like you're looking for the culture after the fact. Like you're trying to find an audience for this product, right? And usually that in Web 2, fantastic idea, and that might be the way a lot of these successful tokens had it. But Ape Chain, like the culture is there from the start because they're basically importing it from the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Like you got a friendly culture. You got people that haven't like been degenning for a couple of years because they've been holding off and waiting for Yuga to give them the green light. You know, so like the Ape Chain is just like, and also yeah, I cannot emphasize enough. Like in my head, the comfortability with the fact that there's only 2 to 3 people, 3% bridged. Like there's almost besides just how awesome it is, there haven't been like financial incentives yet to bridge that people realize, but like it's auto compounding yield once you bridge to Ape Chain. So like most of the people
I'm literally earning Ape Chain talking to you. I think I made like 8 Ape Chain just already
right,
today. It's crazy. Like you just by holding it in your wallet, you're accumulating. It's insane.
right. And it was similar to Blast setup, but I hate Blast. I think this was like a whole better deal. Yeah, fuck Blast. But uh I think like just think about it. So it's like auto accumulating. You don't even have to sign anything. Like you don't have to go in every week and like move your stuff forward or mess with some like third party application that could potentially get hacked, like one of those that people dealt with a couple of years ago when they were ape staking off of an unofficial platform.
No,
And
nobody in the US knows what you're talking about right now, Frankie. Nobody in the US knows what you're talking about.
yeah, exactly. Like yeah, my fault. Said the quiet part out loud. But the so like there's literally no reason, even if these people don't participate in the degen action, which they will because they're apes and they can't help participating in some degen action, especially when it's been this long and it's fun. Like you're gonna jump back and see all of your friends making NFTs that have been like holding off on like a queue like this. But
As you said, there's a lot going on in the ecosystem. There's a lot to be excited about. But people like you who are present and who are here, I think, are making that difference by like jumping in and doing it because I would say the water's warm, but like a lot of people, a lot of those people. I bet like in that Telegram, there's probably a lot of people that you've carried over from Gucci Grails who know your grind for Gucci Grails, 10K TF, and all
even
these
that
other projects.
actually, I have like a couple people, but like a lot of the people I'm meeting are brand new from Ape Chain. Like there's a whole lot of new people joining Ape Chain from other chains right now, is what I'm seeing, and I think that's like
Nice.
what has to happen a lot. Um, one thing I remembered that I wanted to mention earlier, like there's like a real specific reason that I think that Ape Express is going to naturally draw people away from Solana's Pump Fund. Okay, so like Solana, like towards the end of their, or I'm sorry, Pump Fund towards the end I don't remember. I mean, I call it the end like of when it was actually fun. They
Yeah.
like started like, oh, we're gonna pay you now if you bond, and then it just became a fucking nightmare. It's like 99.9% of tokens are like failing. Like everyone's like rugged unless it's a full cabal coin. Like you have to, people are like having to like mess with the supply to even get it off the ground legitimately. Like not me, but like I'm aware of this going on Solana. So pump fund ended up being not so pump fund because they flooded the market. And I think one of the big issues also is like towards the end, since the only way for people to even get their token made was like through some sketchy stuff like bundling, not always sketchy, but sometimes like you would buy a bunch of a token on Pump Fund, and then it like basically instantly distributes to 100 other smaller wallets. All of a sudden, your token has a shit ton of volume, and it looks like it's distributed very well. When really, it's one person in control of 100 wallets. There's no way around that scam. Like that was like the end of Pump Fund, in my opinion. And besides, like now, very clearly guided. Like besides, like the occasional meme hit, it's still like 1 in 1,000 now.
What
So
is
the
it
way
that you would change in terms of what you know about, launching coins and what you're bringing to, your launch? What is it that you would I don't know, recommend for people, like if they were thinking about launching a coin that you've learned so far?
um let me jump to that here. Let me just finish this thought real quick about the Ape Express. Sorry, but
Yeah.
I just because it is like one specific thing that makes Ape Express so distinct from Pump Fund that I wanted to get to is they do not allow you to transfer tokens from your wallet until bond. So like
Mm.
basically, so like people are gonna have to have like a million browsers open or like multiple computers like or whatever to fake this like entry into a token because they can't snipe the supply, spread it out to a bunch of wallets. So like what you see is like, oh, these tokens are going a lot slower, but this is like what real organic tokens look like. Like there's developers, creators working for their projects and like actually networking and gradually like moving it up instead of like rampant pump and dumps basically. Uh, okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to finish my thought. What was your question?
No, I wanted to get that thought out of your head because I think it was there and ripe for the picking. But because there are advantages to, what we're seeing on Ape Express that are allowing for this naturalness, as you said, of organicness. But given what you've experienced, what is it that you would recommend to people as they like, is okay, because it's easy to launch a coin. I was just messing around and I launched like this, funny coin, but I just wanted to see how to actuate it, and I almost did it by accident. I was like, oh shit, that's live. I was just like, oh damn, do I have to,
Dude,
like, I felt almost in debt, like, do I have to do something, like, people, it started like, people started, started transacting. I was like, oh wait, no, this is, I don't know what I'm doing. And
here's
so I think
whatever you say, Minty. It's before we proceed, you should tell me the ticker.
I know, right? And go hard on it. But that's the point, is just like, it's like, oh crap, you launch it so easy now. But to get that organic reach, to get that push, it sounds like, you set up a Telegram. What were those steps of launching?
So like this is like really a learning experience for me, and it's also like I think I'm a naturally extroverted person. So but I've been like introverted for a while. Like I've always been kind of scared to speak up on spaces or stuff like that. So like starting this collection, it's like or like launching this token. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like I've always wanted to like launch a token, but it's like it's messy regulatory wise, obviously. Like you're taking a risk for sure. But like at this point, like I think the risk is relatively calculated. I also launched it without any. I launched the token without buying anything, so I'm trying to like right off the bat. I think that helps. Like I'm not a legal advisor, financial advisor, whatever.
No
But like right
financial
off the
advice ever given here. No dating advice. No
absolutely.
advice whatsoever here.
But yeah, this is all fiction. But I started with uh, I launched the token with zero, so I didn't have any supply for myself, and I bought later on the open market, like a small chunk of it, and was like talking to the community, and like I think like my number one advice for anyone launching a token is like be genuine. Like that's it. Like you like people, you spam your token a bunch of times in the chat, no one gives a shit, right? Like if you spam your token after you've made connections with 5 people that are like, hell yeah, I see you, like that, you're a fucking legend. That's awesome. Like you have to
Hmm.
like actually talk to people, you know, like there's not, and that's what I love about this space versus like something like Solana where you see shit that like is just an animal that just
Yep.
goes up to fucking $1 billion. Like you can it's not rocket science right now. There's only a few factors for you to make when you're choosing between like different tokens, and one of those factors is who the hell shows up every single day. Like you can see all these guys in the spaces. So like it is. It's just like if you're launching a token on Ape, at least at this point, like it really comes down to, and my token's not successful by any means. We haven't bonded yet, but like
Very, very early days. And I think that that's part of, why I love having you on this show is that there's a that idea of community and community support also gives community affirmation that this person is real, that like, oh yeah, we know Grimy from these other things. And so by having that reputation in this space, it gives a lot more credence, because I mean there's a lot of the derivatives and a lot of like people who can create instantaneously, like myself, late at night doing stupid stuff by accident, can create them. But what are the quote unquote ones that have a vision, or real ones of people who actually, as you said, show up every day? That's the differentiation. That's
that are like timeless memes that probably didn't bond. Like there's a lot of people that are just like from other chains that don't care right now, that haven't like talked to anybody. They're probably
Mhm.
throwing in money because it's a brand new chain and they're going to dump
Yep.
before it reaches bond, and that's normal. Once you get like, but I think the Bored Ape people and also the people from other chains are going to be different, like with the way that they sell. I think like we're bringing in NFT natives instead of uh, like meme coin natives. So like I think the selling activity is going to be a lot different once they get on.
That's the thing. There's a lot of things that have been hitting the market, and we're trying to distinguish who's here for the long term, who's here, because there is a
Oh,
lot of opportunism right now at the moment, and it's tough. Like I just like I posted my own NFT. I was like kind of proud of it. I won't say the thing, but it was like I was kind of proud because I was like, I like the traits that I put together. And then an artist started DMing me, these are the traits that I drew, and they're just lifting them. And I was like, holy crap. And then so like, and then they, it was a shock. I was like, oh no. I was like, with all intention, I was just like, no. So I immediately floored it, and then, kind of let the appropriate people know. And then, Gordon was like posting about it. I was like, Gordo, you might want to watch out, because
it's like
that could be a landmine.
a stolen art situation with
Yeah,
like one
it looks
of
it
these.
looks it looks like it, because when you don't have, somebody who's there, I was asking them around. I was like, okay, well, can somebody speak to this? Can somebody who did this project speak to what's being proven, by these other artists? Because it's a group of artists that seem to have been lifted from. And so, just trying to go through the process of it, but it's hard to when there's no accountability, when there's nobody on the other side of that token.
It's also the beauty of blockchain, though. You know, it's all self accountability in some ways, but like yeah, people are capitalizing on the hype and they're adding uh, stolen art.
I'm just going to go through the art here, all this art. So you did this. How long ago did you do this collection?
Um, I had like the some of the traits were designed in like 2022, and then I redid uh like some of the drawings, added a few traits, and like so I did some of the art on the night of, and like most of it was ready to go from like a year or two before, from like just tons of collections I've made. And I wanted to speak. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to speak to what you're talking about, trying to distinguish like which tokens are from solid people versus opportunists. For one, like a lot of the people here are going to be opportunists. That's not a bad thing in the beginning of a chain, like, but you do need to distinguish. Uh, I guess like who's gonna abandon a project and who you should let it cook. You know what I mean? Like so like it right off the bat, anybody that was like good enough at deving or like ready to go enough to get this stuff off, like
Mhm.
of course some they're shooting from the hip somewhat. I've been like super clear about that. Like I've got like a plan, but it's ongoing. Like we made this project on the night of, and like so like anybody who's trying to say I've had like this 3-year plan ready, like there might be like one or two projects that are like that probably have like some backing and like haven't done it yet, and we're waiting for the right chain. But like really like most everybody that's on here right now like just created some art to launch on Ape Chain. Like even like the major artists, like they like, hey, this is a cool new chain, I'm gonna make some art. So like for me it's more um I'm not like blaming for people for taking the opportunity, but I want to see who has like actual potential to cook, who's still showing up. Like like I don't know, tokens like this is gonna be unpopular opinion, but like some of these major caps like Curtis, I'm like, this is so lame, dude. Like, why are you launching a token that's like the main Bored Ape character? I don't care if Gordo is like the top holder, like total respect. If I don't know if he is, but like total respect, but like like that's so not creative. Like you just like stole literally the main Bored Ape character and launched it on day one, and then it went to like the moon, and it's like $10 million or something. Like that stuff's. I don't think that stuff's gonna hold, or like that's like super creative. Like that's what I haven't bought into that collection because I don't think it's got a lot of for me in my investing style. I don't think it's got a lot of room to run from where it is. I think it's like peak hype until more people enter. And also, I'm just not impressed with like what they're doing like creatively. There's other that doesn't mean I don't like funny shit. I'm not only investing in serious stuff. Like my favorite meme is Dong Socks. That's like fucking that one's hilarious. But Dong Socks is sitting at a 200K market cap. Dong
Yeah.
Socks shows up every day, you know, and that's a funny ass meme. So like that I think has longevity. Uh Gucci's project. Like I'm biased because I love Gucci,
Yep.
but he like
Yeah.
launched one called Chaos. Like this is interesting. Like this is totally different. It's very early and it's not just a
Mhm.
regular meme coin. Like
Yep.
they have they're like pitching together for a chaos deed, and then based on some stuff I heard from Coco, like I guess you're going to be able to like potentially use ape chain based tokens or trade like ape chain tokens inside the other side. So if
Mhm.
that's the case, like I think these other side related projects like Uchitas might have some massive potential. So like it's more like look at the stuff where the price movement you can tell like all the traders like dumped and they like don't give a shit anymore and they're all going to come back later because you see like a floor being established. You can actually go in the Telegram chat. They're real people. Like that's what it boils down to, you know.
Go
Like
with
when you
real
see
growth.
that there's real people support, right? And like those people set up a floor because they trust the project and they see the vision long term. So you just got to ignore the floor price for the first couple days for the
If
whole
there
time. Probably.
if there is a vision, and I know it, and it's okay that you don't have it fully complete with the 5 year, 10 year plan, but
I've got
in the best
lots to share.
in the best well in the best of worlds in your mind, you know, what is it that you see for the future with your project?
Okay, so my project, like I get a lot of inspiration from 10KTF. Like I love the one involving a bunch of other collections, two
Mhm.
like storytelling projects and storytelling NFTs, Forgotten Runes, I love them too. And what was the third part? Three, I like the fucking mystery. That's like the key to my
Mhm.
tokens, and that's also like what I think 10KTF is fantastic at after watching their marketing for like 2 years. Like when everybody is really involved, like you had people scrambling, like trying to find like what the fuck does this mean? There's like full Twitter spaces where people are like taking screenshots of like certain parts of their posts, and I'm like, that's fascinating. That's like that's a real devoted audience that's like having fucking lots of fun, you know. Like, so I'm a huge fan of the way 10KTF did it, and I used inspiration from them for some of my projects. But I plan on my the first thing we did. So I started kind of like with the meme. I'm telling everybody in the first couple spaces of a mysterious token. Oh, I can't answer many of your questions because it would ruin the mystery. And I'm still going to say that in a lot of spaces because I think it's hilarious. But like, there's plenty of info about this project out at this point. Like, so like we did part of it is we're doing a 12-week game. This is right. I've got a few things, but right off the bat, launch a 12-week game. It's going to be a week, like installments similar to 10KTF. Integrate a story, but the first thing we do is a riddle, and the solution to the riddle, whoever it's different every week. It's not always going to be a riddle. The solution to the first one was this is a phrase or a secret
Mhm.
phrase for a wallet, and this wallet is going to have like a bunch of prizes that I have not yet disclosed to people. It's a mysterious wallet that I won't speak anymore at this time. But solution over this 12-week game is going to be access to uh, the seed phrase for the wallet I've created. So each individual person that solves the challenge or game is going to get their own prize. The first one was a Gucci Girl Mutant, which is like a $250 floor right now, and
Sweet.
the grand like mystery is I haven't revealed what's going to be in the wallet. I do have like a pretty solid idea of what I'm going to do with it already, but like so the final challenge is mix and matching the words and being the first one to crack open the wallet and get the prize.
Grammy Frankie
So
making it fun again. Thank you for making it fun again.
thank you.
It's again, this is why I wanted to have you on the show because I think that's the thing is like I can see you building, I can see you generating these ideas in service of something continuing on, something that's going to continue, and you show up every day. And that's the thing. Like you, Guchita, you guys, when I hear that people are that are out there building, that have been here, are now working actively in the chain, I'm excited. I go and I buy the hell out of these things, and I try and support, because I think that you guys are the ones that are going to take it, A, to the fun levels, but also B, maybe find something else, maybe find something unique that really works for the chain, that's unique, that only you guys can do. And so I'm super excited. So thank you for sharing this journey with us. We hope to have you back when you're at a bajillion-dollar market cap, and you're doing probably even crazier, awesomer things. So thank you for sharing your story.
You mind throwing in one more thing if I got a minute?
Yeah,
just
man.
about the collection. So about the collection and the token, like I said before, I'm not a professional dev, but I do make a lot of my own trading tools that I use for both NFTs and for like tokens. So something I was thinking of doing is starting to like release like either like a grimy lab suite kind of thing, where we would have like a suite of tools on Apechain, because like most of these tools from Solana aren't even on Apechain yet. So I was thinking about developing those and then trying to give access to or either like free access or some kind of privileged access to the holders of the NFT in the collection. So that's like one other direction I was going. But just wanted to mention that. And thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, the opportunity, and would love to see you guys and anyone else over on Apechain.
Amazing. I'll see you on there when your name populates when I'm trading against you. Thanks for joining.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll see you on top.